Well, Paul, hey, congratulations on Clean. I mean, it's already been a week of release and lots of good buzz already, right?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm going to try to come up with different questions because I spoke to you and Adrien once before during Tribeca, and that was such a lovely conversation.
Yeah, it was.
So let me start with this. When you first met Adrien on Bullethead, how did you know that he was the one person that you wanted to work with in the future?
I mean, it's funny. When I met Adrien for Bullethead, at the time, Adrien was, I think, in the south of France, just doing art. I don't know if you know about Adrien. He makes music, he paints. He really is an artist. And I think he was just taking a break from movies. We had sent him the script for Bullethead anyway, just hoping that he would be the guy. And he really responded to it. And he responded to it for all the reasons that I wrote it. We just have very similar sensibilities. I think really from our first conversation, we both got that we were kindred spirits, and we had a great time on Bullethead. It was a really ambitious movie to make, and we spent a lot of time together in Eastern Europe, just working our asses off, and we had a fucking lot of fun. And I think by the end of that experience, we just really trusted each other, and so I don't think there was any question about whether we wanted to make another movie together at that point. And he had this thing. He had this thing inside of him. This very, very clear emotional vision for a character that he just really felt like in his heart and in his cell structure, that he shared with me and invited me to sort of help him, bring to life.
So the start of the script writing process for Clean actually came from him. So how did you want to flesh this story out?
We started, we had our initial conversation where we were just sort of riffing on the movies that we love. And we started to talk about this character and this concept that he had for making a movie really independently. And from there, we just iterated. We were both working, and so wherever we were, we would make sure we met up. So, I went to see him in Manchester while he was doing Peaky Blinders, and we just walked around the city, sort of dreaming together and riffing and spitballing and thinking about what this character might be and what this world might be, and we just kept doing that. So, if I was in New York, I'd hit him up and we would get together and walk around the city and, and just spitball, find an office to work in somewhere. And same thing in LA. And we just iterated, did some work on the phone. And it really was, a sort of instinctive, pretty pleasurable process, that development process, and a pretty, relatively quick one as those processes go, because I think we really trusted each other's instincts, and I think the work was really complementary.
By the way, I think you would have make a excellent director for an episode of Peaky Blinders. That would have been awesome.
I love that. Oh, I'm such a fan of Peaky, man. I love that show. Such a great show. Beautiful.
That is wonderful. So who came up with the idea that the lead character should have been a sanitation engineer or a garbage man?
Oh, I mean, the whole thing really is a blur at this point for me, where things come from. I know there's some line in Bullethead about, I borrowed a garbage truck from Mr. Clean. Maybe there was something in there, I'm not sure. It really, when you have a working relationship like that, there's not a whole lot of the authorship really becomes sort of blurred in a really nice sort of a way.
Now, Adrien was involved in the Clean project, acting, writing, producing. At which point did you knew that he was a composer? Because last time we talked, I didn't even know he was a composer.
I knew Adrien made music, and I'd listened to some of his music, like when we would hang out, sometimes he would play me his beats, and I had no idea that he had aspirations to actually compose the score for the movie. So, and I don't think he did either, at first. I think, we always talked about his music being in the movie. But, film composition is a really complex craft. I mean, it's a very, very specific craft. It's like, a novelist can't necessarily go, even a great novelist can fall on their face trying to write a screenplay. It's just it's a really, really specific, sort of concrete craft to learn. And, to Adrien's great credit, he really did learn it, and he learned it fast and well. And he understood it as he understood it in the way that an actor as savvy as him, might understand it, which is that, score is an extension of performance. It is a way to accentuate and underline certain things, and to bring out other things. And Adrien really got that as a composer. He knew what he wanted to hit. He knew what was important to him. He knew tonally where he wanted it to go, and that's where he took it.
I mean, this all of this involvement. I mean, that means that you put a lot of trust into Adrien, and he puts a lot of trust into you, especially for his newfound production company.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible to make a movie like this without having a great deal of trust in your collaborator. I mean, it really was a full partnership, full collaboration. I really, really trust and believe in Adrien, and I really put, complete faith in him. As an actor, I've never seen a person, Adrien is a person who, I really have never seen him. I've never seen him do anything except take something that he's been given and make it better. As an actor, you can completely count on him elevating whatever he has. And he does a tremendous amount of work to accomplish that. So yeah, I don't think this is a movie we could have made as a first movie. Mm-hmm. This is a movie that we needed to already have a shorthand, in order to accomplish this.
Adrien is such an accomplished actor, since he was pretty young. So how do you direct an Academy Award winner like him, or does he just do it himself?
I mean, I've been really lucky to work with, some actors who I just admire so much, and who just have a great deal more experience than I have. Adrien is very high on that list. And, he is a guy who, he always does the work. He goes home and he studies and he studies and he studies, and physically he's always prepared. Your job really with Adrien is to make sure that the emotional map is clear, so that he doesn't have to focus on anything except what's going on where his feet are, and to do your best to sort of protect him from whatever noise you can. And in a production like this, you really can't protect him from all the noise, because the nature of him also being a producer, also being a co-writer, it just means that he's going to be dealing with that stuff. At lunch, he's going to be dealing with whatever our logistical problems are. And so, it really is to his great credit that he's able to give the performance that he gave in this movie. And it is a beautiful performance, and something that we really, we've seen incredible things from Adrien, but this is something really unique. He really is physically a force of nature in this movie. So I think, the job really is to make sure that you're lighting his way, that he has sort of a North Star to follow, and to let him do his work, and to make sure that he trusts you enough to know that, when you say you have it, you have it.
Mm-hmm. Now, just out of curiosity, how did you manage to commandeer a garbage truck for for your film here?
Mercifully, we did not have to steal it. There's a there's a great there's a guy named Travis Bliss who his company is Bliss Sanitation in upstate New York, and he was just we reached out to him. He was incredibly generous with us and really supportive and let us use the truck and use his dumpsters. And you know, when you see Adrien wearing a Bliss shirt, that's his company. That is we didn't make that up. That wasn't something we designed. That's Bliss Sanitation. And Travis, I think it was, you know, in addition to that, you know, Adrien is an actor who really is going to do all the prep that he needs to do for a role. So of course, you know, we're at Bliss. Adrien's driving the garbage truck. He's learning, you know, how to chain up the dumpsters and to do it quickly and to do it in a way that, because he needs to work while he's doing it. It needs to become muscle memory. He did all that. I remember Adrien driving and I'm hanging on the side of the garbage truck. You know, that's like one of my favorite memories from prep, you know, and he's just jamming, you know, he's going like 50 miles an hour. But, you know, so yes, I trust Adrien. I trust him even to drive the garbage truck with me on the side.
That is amazing. The man of many talents there. That is for sure. Now, I'm not going to spoil, you know, the finale scene, but I do want to know is what production set do you have to destroy to compose that the conclusion there?
Oh gosh, I don't want to give it away either.
What was it a production set, or was it actually a house that you had to destroy?
I kind of don't want to give away the secret, but I will tell you that it was a set because the production designer and the art department deserves to be recognized for something like that. And the fact that you have to ask means that they did their job. You know, it's you know, and of course, you know, we have one shot at something like that on a movie like this. We don't, if it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. You know, and you have to sort of, I don't know what we were going to do, you know, piece it together or try to figure out some computer generated something or other, but that stuff's very, very hard to do in a computer. But yeah, no, it was a set and we had, the trick with a set is that the walls are thinner than real walls. And, you can see the flats come apart if you do it wrong. But the production designer was very smart in the arrangement of there's a clock, and the special effects team was very good about loading the walls with debris, and god damn, it really worked.
Well, that's my commendation to your crew. I mean, if I did have to ask it about it, then that's.
I'm thrilled to hear that question. It's great. That's a great thing.
So, Paul, about for yourself, when did you know, at which point in your life, that you wanted to be directing movies?
I sort of was always obsessed with movies. Like there was no time in my life I remember not being obsessed with movies. I remember, you know, getting up and running out to watch, you know, like I remember sort of like laying on the ground in front of the television, just like, you know, staring at these movies and you know, and then my family got a camcorder when I was, you know, very little. And I remember just like sort of commandeering the family's shitty VHS and just shooting. And I ended up going to a great summer camp where the counselors sort of worked with the kids. We did like a shot for shot recreation of Metropolis, like that we shot on 16 millimeter. We were little kids. It was awesome. And then I went to another camp where I was fortunate enough to have all three of the Roth brothers as my counselors, and like Eli Roth and Gabe Roth and Adam Roth. And they became, you know, close friends and mentors to me over the years. And you know, and I remember watching, I was sort of seeing the movies that they were making as a family. They're all three super, super creative, and their movies were crazy, like just insane movies. And I started to sort of get that you could actually do this as a career. Like Eli went to Tisch, he went to NYU, and I remember going to visit him at NYU and walking around the city with him and just like realizing like, oh, he's gonna be a director. Like there's no alternative plan for him. And it sort of became more concrete for me at that point. So you know, somewhere in there.
So admittingly, Eli Roth has a lot of influence in for your type of films, because I want to say you kind of started in the horror business, horror genre yourself.
Oh, I did very much. Yeah. I mean, I love horror movies. I love genre movies of, you know, of all kinds. I mean, you know, I love action films. I love sci-fi films. I love horror films. And I really did start in horror. And I grew up, you know, just, you know, I was the camper running around with a Fangoria magazine, you know, like a little kid, like, you know, looking at like, oh, how does Tom Savini do this? And you know, and the reality is, you know, genre filmmaking is such a like glorious, like kinetic mode of filmmaking. There's a reason that, you know, your Sam Raimis and your Peter Jacksons come from like really crazy, like ultra violent, you know, splatter horror. You know, like you look at their movies, they're crazy, but they're kinetic and they're wild and they're, you know, cameras flying all over the fucking place. And they're just such really imaginative way to make movies and to sort of flex all those skills. And all the skills that you learn as a horror filmmaker are applicable in any mode of filmmaking. You know, there's tension, there's timing, there's rhythm, there's drama, there's all of these things. And, you know, so, you know, it makes perfect sense to me that a person who comes from that sort of world and appreciation for all those tools, you know, can make all kinds of different movies. But yes, Eli was very much a formative part of my my creative life. You know, he was very, very generous with me and helpful to me.
Maybe I mean personally, I don't know, but do you want to work with Eli down the road, possibly get back to that genre?
I mean, Eli's mostly a friend, you know, it's like whether we work together, you know, I mean, who knows, you know, I've known the Roths for so long that I don't really even think about it. I don't so much think about it as a business relationship really at all. Who knows? Could be. I mean, he's great fun. He's totally, you know, he's hilarious and creative as hell.
So at which point did that you transition from horror to, you know, action with Bullethead and Clean, that you know, to switch into a different genre?
I don't know that I ever made a sort of decision like I'm going to do this now. You know, and I would make a horror film again. I'm just really drawn to, you know, to good stories. I don't, you know, I really don't discriminate, you know, one genre to the next. You know, I just as soon not make, you know, a bad or uninteresting movie in any genre. But, you know, like, I mean, you know, I've started making documentaries now as well. And I think it's just, you know, if the story is powerful and, you know, something I would want to see, then I want to make it.
That is good. That is great to hear. And are you planning to develop more with Adrien down the road after Clean?
Oh, I'd love to.
Most definitely. So what's up next for you? You mentioned there's a documentary.
Yeah, I generally don't talk much about projects before they're really ready. I am doing another documentary now, which is on a really powerful subject with a great team. You know, really just wonderful producers on that, and just like, you know, a great you know, a great set of partners for this particular subject matter in particular. So so that, and then a couple features and some TV stuff, which I think would be fun to get back into. And so, you know, I like to keep a few things cooking at the same time.
Well, something's going to simmer, some things are going to boil. So something's going to happen for you, Paul.
Thank you.
It's wonderful speaking with you again. I can't wait to talk to you again on your next project.
Great. Thank you so much. Good to see you again.
Hey, thank you. Next time.
Take care.